Boom. Welcome traders, welcome Bitcoiners, welcome subscribers, welcome followers, welcome supporters, welcome cheerers, welcome haters, welcome Bitcoin deniers, haters, all of you. Everyone's welcome from all four corners of the earth. You're all welcome. Come on in, guys, make yourselves comfortable. We're going to have another live session with Oliver Velez. Of course, my name is Oliver Velez, and we're going to talk about Bitcoin, our favorite topic, especially as of late. Okay. And I got a very fascinating topic to talk to you about today. One that I think has probably taken a number of you by surprise. But I believe you're not going to be so surprised after our little talk today. I think today's talk will spur some very interesting conversations, I think it'll foster some very interesting thoughts on your part regarding how you approach Bitcoin. And I think it'll be quite thought-provoking. I think that not enough people have sort of paid attention or applied a lot of attention to this aspect of Bitcoin in their life, how much of their life should be in Bitcoin. And so we're going to really talk about that. And before I actually get started, I sort of like to make sure we have about 300 people logged in before we start. And looks like we're almost there now, 244, 46, 47. But I don't think that, just as a caveat before I start delving into this topic, I don't think that there is a right allocation, a right percentage of what Bitcoin should represent in your life. I don't think there's a uniformly right answer for everyone. I think a lot of your answer, whatever answer you have should and probably will evolve over time. So not only do I not think that there is a specific blanket uniform allocation to Bitcoin that is right for every single human being, I also think that whatever is right for you at the time will not stay that indefinitely. I think that this is an evolving thing. Our life evolves, and our life allocated to Bitcoin, as it were, evolves. And I sort of like that twist too, guys. I like to flip the idea of how much should I allocate to Bitcoin. How much of my life should be allocated to Bitcoin versus, how much Bitcoin should I have? I like to look at it sort of from the other way as well. So I think that's interesting. Anyway, guys, come on in, make yourselves comfortable. My beginning comments. Grab the beverage of your choice. I've got some lemongrass tea here. Awesome. Grab the beverage of your choice. Maybe even grab something to take notes with. I'm a voracious note taker, guys. I just try to always remind you that there is power in the pen. Trust me. Even if you never look at your notes again, something magical has happened just by transferring a thought, an idea, something that made you pause, just by transferring that from the ethereal world of thought onto something that can stare back at you. I think that transfer really does something that just retaining it in your mind does not do. Okay, so get in a habit of taking some notes here. All right, but where are you guys coming in from, guys? Where are you guys coming in from? Where do I see you from? I don't see anybody from anywhere. Usually tell me where you're from, guys. Where are you coming in from? Very quickly, tell me where you're coming in from. Take another sip of my tea here. Let that gray beard grow. Let the gray beard grow. UK is in the house. Ohio's in the house. All right, I love it. All right, what is this? UK. Whoa, okay. Quebec is in the house, I see. Okay, what was this? Okay, I got that. Jamaica's in the house. Welcome, Jamaica. Awesome. Canada again. London is in the house. Miami's in the house. Okay. Chi-Town's in the house. Love it. San Diego. Ooh, nice. Okay. Mexico's in the house. Interesting. Lots of Americans here today. Brazil. Okay. Macedonia, Atlanta. Nice. England, Brazil again. I love it. Seeing lots of Brazil in the house as well. South Australian. Boom. Italy, Bolivia. Beautiful. I see Atlanta again. I love it. Okay. I love it. All right, guys. So look, I have about eight things that I want to make sure that I get all in. Now, these things are not in any particular order of importance. All right. So I might, I don't want you to think that the item number one that I speak about is more important than all the other items. Okay. But there are 8 things, and I took some notes. I just want to make sure I don't miss these because I can go off on a rant and sort of miss these things. So I just want to make sure that I get all 8 notes. All 8 items in. So I'm going to start with item number 1. Now, the title, of course, of my talk is Why I Am Not 100% Bitcoiner. This might surprise some, but at the end of our talk, it's not going to surprise you at all. I promise you. All right. So number 1, my age. Okay. I'm not a 100% Bitcoiner, guys, largely because of my age and the status that I've managed to achieve for my age. I was very fortunate, guys, to spend all of my career in the financial markets. So I've done absolutely nothing else with my life. I only know one thing. I know how to play financial markets. I've had no other real job. I've had no other function. I've had no other specialty. I had no other plan B except Bitcoin now, but it had no other plan B except trading financial markets, playing financial markets, learning how to scour the world for the best opportunities for staying ahead of all of the things that can cause you to sink in this world financially. All right. And that became my lifelong mission. That became my specialty. As a result of that, I was actually fortunate enough, guys, to start at a time that was nearly perfect for this. You see, prior to my starting in the financial markets from the equity side, the entire world was largely dominated by bond traders. I started in the equity markets in the 1980s, and that was the resurgence of equity markets taking over, to a certain extent, the mind, imagination, and desires of the vast majority of people. There's this saying that, bonds are for gentlemen. And while the bond market still largely remains one of the smartest markets in the world, I believe the bond market is smarter than the equity market overall. So traders and market participants in the bond market have a more sophisticated handle on the macro items that move the world of money. I believe that they are smarter in that regard regarding equity traders, but the world exploded as far as equity participation, equity trading in the 1980s. And I started in the 1980s. So I started at the right time, and I went to a semi-retired stance relatively early in my life. One might can argue between the ages of 28 and 33. I was semi-retired definitely after 33 years old, semi-retired. But my point in telling you all of this is that over a 40-year period, I have amassed a certain amount of assets. All right. And these assets have basically fallen into 2 broad categories. All right. One was a big trough of gold. My father was a gold bug, so that pretty much made me a gold bug my entire career. So my entire career, I always knew that gold was real money, fiat currency not. So anything that I didn't need outside of my collective investing and so forth and so on, I socked away in gold. I subsequently put all of that into Bitcoin. So today I'm not a gold owner, but we're going to put that asset to the side. So the remaining two asset classes that really I've accumulated over 40 years, stocks, all right, long-term holdings in stocks. I still have my very, very first sizable investment I made. Wasn't sizable at the time, it's sizable now, which is an Eli Lilly all the way back in 1981. I still have that. I still have my McDonald's. I still have Microsoft. I still have Apple. I still have Amazon. I still have Nvidia. I still have a variety of things that I've held over decades. Okay. And admittedly, today, as I sell down gradually, that does go into Bitcoin. But I can't be 100% because I have these troughs of my wealth in equities. The other category is homes, and I am also today paring down my property holdings. I'm down to my last four. All right, I had many more. When I pare down my property holdings, that does go into Bitcoin, all of it. I don't need it. All of it goes into Bitcoin. All of my gold went to Bitcoin. Anytime I'm paring down my wealth portfolios, it goes into Bitcoin. So my Bitcoin holdings are also being contributed to by these wealth tranches that I have accumulated over the past 4 decades of my career. So to be 100%, I would have had to sell all of those right on the nose and put everything into Bitcoin at the same time. That's just not smart. Okay. There's tax planning. There's timing of the asset's value that you want to incorporate. There are legal issues, and of course there are tax consequences. So all of that requires that you do it systematically and appropriately the best way so that you don't get yourself killed or reverse some of the benefits of you working so hard to amass these things. So the two large categories for me were equities and properties. They are being wound down, okay? And as they're wound down, they're moved into Bitcoin. So that's the reason number one. As a subset of reason number one, I will go into this as well. I've reached a stage in my life, guys, where I believe that I played life extraordinarily well. And I've reached a point where I don't want to live without chairs. Do you understand? I want to live life at a certain level. I believe I've earned that. I've worked hard for that. And I've been doing that for a long time. That is not something I'm willing to sacrifice at this particular point. All right. I want to be able to have nice dinners. I want to be able to every now and then get a really nice bottle of wine. I want to be able to take my family on a vacation anywhere they want to go. All right. I want to be able to do the things that I've worked very hard for. You know, when I was in 6th grade, my 6th grade teacher, her name was Miss Nardiello. I'll never forget this name. She gave us an assignment. Some of you might know this story. She gave us an assignment when I was in 6th grade, and she told us to go home over the weekend and come back on Monday and give her our specific personal definition of what being wealthy, being rich, being successful is. She wanted to know, what's success for you? What's wealth for you? Because her view was that it's different for everyone. Everyone has a different image of what that is. So, make a long story short, I realized over the weekend that I couldn't really find anyone in my life I could point to say, that's who I want to be. That's what I want to be. That's what I want to accomplish. And this was an eye-opener for me. I didn't know anyone. I looked amongst my family. I looked amongst my relatives, my neighbors, and I couldn't find anyone. And this was eye-opening for me. But I remembered something. I remembered one Christmas. I think I was like 6 years old at the time. It's a Christmas that I'll never forget because I felt as though I made my mother feel inappropriate. And I carried around this guilt about that because I wanted this special pair of skates. My mother promised that she was going to get it to me for Christmas, but she wasn't able to. She wasn't able to. Something came up. She got me a couple little trinkets, but I came down, looked for this prize, this gift of mine, and I could see the disappointment, the sadness in my mother's face because I was so disappointed that I didn't have my skates. I never wanted to see that look in my mother's face again. And I felt like it's my fault. I should have pretended. I should have acted like everything was okay. I shouldn't have acted so disappointed. Never want to see my mom look like that again. She was heartbroken. So remembering this, I went back into Miss Nardiello's class on Monday morning. Sorry for the lengthy story, but there's a point here and I'm about to drive it home, right? Went back to Miss Nardiello's class on Monday morning. It was my turn to stand up after maybe 6 or 7 other kids stood up and says, you know, I want a fancy car. I want a big giant mansion. Da, 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 da. I stood up and said, she says, well, Oliver, what is your definition of success? I said, Miss Nardiello, my success, my idea, my definition of success is as follows. I never, ever want to have to say no when I really want to say yes. And this statement of mine made everyone in the room quiet. And I could see that my teacher, Miss Nardiello, was a little blown away by it. I never want to say no. I never want to have to say no when I really, in my heart and my soul, I want to say yes. Because my mother really wanted to say yes to those skates, but she couldn't. And I never wanted to live like that. I never want to say no when my true desire is really yes. And to me, that's being successful. When your no's are real. When I say no, it's because I don't want to, not because I can't. And that's what drove my life. Do you understand? That drove my life. I never want to have to say no when I really want to say yes. So I'm going to live my life making sure that my no's are not phony. My no's are not fake. My no's are absolutely real. So that when Oliver Velez says no, it's because he doesn't want to, not because he can't. Okay? Now, let me bring this home. Why have I told you all of this? Because I've reached a point in my life where I want to live on a level. I don't want to go back to having to say no because of Bitcoin when I really want to say yes. Now, I'm not saying that is not appropriate for some. I am talking about me personally. I'm not willing to go back there. So if I want to say yes to something, instead of saying, well, you could put this in Bitcoin, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to say no when I really want to say yes. I'm at that station in life where I'm able to do that and it not really hurt me, it not really be a detriment to me, my future, the future of my family. And so I'm just not going there. I'm not going to go there. So I want to be able to live my life at a certain level where I can still always say yes and be a Bitcoiner. Do you understand? Now, again, I'm not saying sometimes that attitude of saying no when you really want to say yes is appropriate for some. It might even be appropriate for the majority of you. It's just not appropriate for me in my life near 60 years old. Do you understand? It's not appropriate. Not saying no. All right. I'm going to live my life. I'm going to live it on a relatively high level, and I'm going to be a Bitcoiner. So that's item number one. I hope you guys understand that. Beautiful sunset, Medellin. That's right. Yes. All right. Hope you guys understand that. All right. Item number two. All right. Item number two here. Guys, I am not 100% Bitcoin also because I don't ever want to have to sell Bitcoin. Most of you who've been following me for a certain period of time, you understand, guys, that I don't believe this is an asset that you sell. I believe it's a one-way street. I believe that once you're in, that's it, because Bitcoin represents freedom. We've talked about this ad nauseum. Bitcoin is freedom. So when you ask me, Oliver, when should I sell? That, to me, that sounds stupid, because you're really saying, when should I leave freedom and go back to not being free? So Bitcoin represents more than buying something for $1 and selling it for $2. You can do that with cocaine. You can probably make more money buying and selling cocaine. I'm in Medellin, Colombia. I know this, than Bitcoin. So it's got to be more than that. Do you understand? You can get lucky with some shitcoin and make more money. Bitcoin is way over and beyond just, I bought something at $1 and I sold it for $2. Yuppie. There's a zillion things in life we can do that with. It's far deeper. It's far more profound. Bitcoin is your freedom outside of a corrupt system, from a corrupt system. Bitcoin is your freedom to not be at the will and the whim of a group of other men. Bitcoin is your freedom from being able to be stolen from, being able to be confiscated. Bitcoin gives you your time back. Do you understand? So Bitcoin is far more than just a financial reward. And if Bitcoin has liberated my life, I am not thinking about, when do I go backwards? So I'm not a big believer in selling Bitcoin. And if I were 100% Bitcoin, life's surprises can sometimes seem a little unfair. And I don't know what it is, but oftentimes when life's surprises come, they do not come in very well-timed moments for you. Invariably, at the worst time to sell Bitcoin, if you're 100%, you will have to sell it at the worst time possible. I would say that's going to be what happens to you the vast majority of time if you're ever forced to sell Bitcoin. You will not be forced to sell it when everything is rosy and it's rocking and it's up in the stratosphere. You'll have to sell it when it's the worst possible time, when it's the time you should be sinking almost that's the most appropriate time. You should almost be sinking everything you have into it. Now life's surprises have come and you have to sell at precisely the wrong time. You should be piling more in. I don't want to find myself in that situation. I never want to have to sell this. So I believe it's possible for an individual to have too much Bitcoin. Yes, as bullish as I am on this, as much as I believe Bitcoin is freedom, you can have too much. You can have too much if you put yourself in a position where someone can take it from you because you got hit by a car, or because your mother got sick, or because something else happened. You understand? No one is taking my Bitcoin. Once I have it, it's a one-way street. It's mine forever. You're not getting no one is getting their hands on it anymore. So I don't want to live my life on the edge where I'm going to have to give this up to someone else. I'm also a big believer that there's a point in our future, guys, where Bitcoin just will not be sold anymore. That's right. You're going to have to work for it. You're going to have to deliver value for it. And that value better be something stupendous, because no one is going to give you Bitcoin for government printed money in the future. As more and more people understand, like, think about this. No one in Venezuela is going to accept from an American Venezuelan bolivars for them. If someone Venezuela builds websites and I need a website as an American, they're not going to say, pay me in Venezuelan bolivars. They're not accepting that shit. Do you understand? Give me gold, give me Bitcoin, give me US dollars. You're not giving me Venezuelan bolivars. Well, that story is coming to everyone ultimately. It's just starting on the fringes, and it's going to work its way all the way to the middle. There will be a point where government money, that the moment you touch it, it's worth less. No one's going to take that for the value they deliver. They're going to take something that is lasting, something that is real. That world is coming to us. You understand? That world. And so I believe that world, we're approaching a world where I'm not taking dollars. I'm sorry. You got to pay me in Bitcoin. If you really want my service, if you really want this thing I made, if you really want this piece of art, if you really want to learn from me, if you really want this thing that I do better than most people in the world, you got to give me Bitcoin. I'm not taking Venezuelan bolivars. I'm not taking Argentinian pesos. I'm not taking Japanese yen. Bitcoin or nothing. So go out there and find Bitcoin. That world is coming to everyone. Do you understand? So to me, selling is you're not going to be, you may not get it back in the future. You sell Bitcoin, you're not going to be able to get it back. It's the same as if saying, like, look, there's 8.2 billion people on Earth, estimated to be on Earth right now. What if there were only 21 million homes for 8.2 billion people to live on? That's impossible. So the value of a home, if there was only 21 million for the entire globe of human beings to live in, those with a home would be the special people. The homes, what cost would what would the value of a home be? Infinity. This is where we're going with Bitcoin. It's going to be infinity. Your home would be infinity if only 21 million existed for 8.2 billion people. Now, think about that scenario. If you'd have a home, you'd never want to get rid of it. You'd pass it on to relative, to generation after generation. And everyone would understand the only way we're going to ever remain with a home is if we hold it. Because if we get rid of this home, we will never in a million years get another one. No one else is going to be stupid enough to give up one of the only 21 million homes in the world for 8.2 billion people. Now take that scenario to Bitcoin. We're going there, people. 21 million for 8.2 million, 8.2 billion now. It is estimated by the year 2050, there's 10 billion. It is estimated, whatever the number is, by the year, 2100, the population numbers are never going to stop. We're growing Earth's human beings at a net of deaths by a net of 250,000 new human beings per day. Every day there's 250,000 new human beings. There's more human beings, but net of deaths, there's 250,000 net new human beings on this earth every single day. Do you understand? This makes Bitcoin more valuable by the minute. Every single human being born, the value per Bitcoin goes, the value per human being's worth of Bitcoin goes up every few seconds of the day. That's crazy. So there will be a point when, as the world understands more, like they understood the importance of fire, like they begin to understand the importance of electricity, when they begin to understand the importance of the radio, then the computer, then the smartphone, then the internet. Do you follow what I'm saying? It's all the same. It's the same trajectory. It's the same path repeated over and over again. And when everyone understands, you're not going to be able to buy this for paper. I'm telling you. No one's going to give it to you for paper. And so I'm sorry for digressing a little bit. My major point is this. I think Bitcoin should be approached as a one-way street. You don't ever let it go again. And there is something that happens, guys. Something that you unleash that's hard to get back. When you sell Bitcoin, you break something. It's a sin that, in my opinion, that's hard to be forgiven for. You release something, it becomes easier to do it again. Do you understand? You break your virginity, if you will. And that is not good. It is hard to get back to that innocence again. It is hard to get back to that full respect for what Bitcoin is, that you don't let me go. Once you have me, you don't let me go. So I don't ever want to be in a situation where I am forced to get rid of my freedom, to get rid of the hardest money on earth, the hardest asset, the best performing asset in the history of the world. The only thing that human beings can't touch, confiscate, steal, debase, inflate, stop, halt, ban. There is nothing like it. And give it up for what? Give it up for what? The fifth? It's in short order going to be the most valuable thing on planet Earth. What do you give up the most valuable thing on Earth for? The 12th most valuable thing? The 25th most valuable thing? Like, what do you sell the Mona Lisa for? Do you know what the value of the Mona Lisa is? There is no value. It's infinite. When's the last time you've heard oh, we're selling the Mona Lisa? Nobody sells the Mona Lisa. You don't sell that. I don't ever want to have life force me to give this to another man. I approach it like 21 million homes for 8.2 billion people. I may never get it back, and certainly not at that price. Okay, so that's reason number 2. I need to live in a way where I have a certain amount of wherewithal I can use for life surprises. I have a certain amount of wherewithal where if my family wants to go to Tahiti for 2 weeks, okay, let's go. I have a certain amount of wherewithal to handle anything that life throws at me, but you're not getting at my Bitcoin. That you're not doing. Okay? That's reason number 2. Okay, reason number 3. As much as some Bitcoin maximalists, and I consider myself a Bitcoin maximalist, I'm proud of that actually. As much as some Bitcoin maximalists like to think that we live in a Bitcoin world, we don't. Bitcoin is a burgeoning money, a burgeoning new system. And yes, I believe its current trajectory of taking over everything will stay intact because it's outside of the hands of human beings. The only thing that's stoppable is what human beings can stop. And Bitcoin can't be stopped by human beings. It can't be touched by human beings. It can't be influenced by human beings. It can't be altered. It can't be halted. It can't be stopped. It can't be fucked with by human beings. So its trajectory will continue for as long as you live and beyond. I believe that. But right now, you've got to know that we're just not in a world where it is appropriate to live 100% on a Bitcoin standard. It doesn't even make sense to me. I don't want to limit my options. I want to have all my options. So look, if I want this and Bitcoin's not accepted and dirty fiat's accepted, I'd much rather give my dirty fiat. I'm not giving this dude my Bitcoin. Let me give him my dirty fiat. This is called Greshams Law. Good money, Bitcoin, drives out. No, I'm sorry. Gresham's Law, got it backwards. That's Tier's Law. Gresham's Law states that bad money drives out good money. And this is true. Bad money drives out good money. Now, some people look at that negatively. No, that's extraordinarily positive. And here's how Gresham's Law works. Bad money drives out good money. Because look, I've got Bitcoin, good money, and I've got dollars, bad money, melting. The guy says, I'll take Bitcoin or USD. You think I'm giving this dude my Bitcoin? Driving Bitcoin out of circulation and using the bad money. I'm getting rid of the junk. I'm getting rid of the garbage. Take the garbage. Oh, I need eggs? Take the garbage. You're not taking my Bitcoin, driving that in my pocket. So bad money is, if there's good money and bad money, the bad money drives the good money in your pocket out of circulation. As more and more people put the good money in their pocket and use the bad money for transient things in their life, when enough people have Bitcoin in their pocket, some people are going to start saying, wait a minute, I don't want your bad money. That good money in your pocket, in your cold storage, I want that. You want what I'm offering here? You want this? You want my home? You want this penthouse? Okay. Give me the good money. And that is going to start happening over time, more and more, where people are going to say, nope, put the bad money away. I'm not doing that. If you really want the value that I have, if you really want that specialty that I do, if you really want my talent on this for you, give me some of that good money. And as more and more people do that, Gresham's law of bad money driving out good money changes to Tyr's law. Look this up. Gresham's law, Tyr's law. Look them both up. Tyr's law states that then good money starts driving out bad money. As more and more people say, I know you've got Bitcoin. Don't give me this idea that you only have the shit money. I know you got Bitcoin. If you want this, you're going to have to give me the good money. As more and more people starts doing that, less and less people start accepting the bad money. And now good money drives out the bad money. So much so that the good money starts being your main medium of exchange. But you can't get to the main medium of exchange until you have Gresham's law period for a while, where good money has been driven into your cold storage. Over millions, tens of millions, billions of people first. Then there's a gradual shift to Tyr's law, where it becomes more and more of the only money that's demanded. That's when you move to medium of exchange, evolutionary step in Bitcoin's process. Now, I say all of that to say this, people. We're not there. We're not at the stage of Tyr's law. We're not at the stage of Bitcoin as medium of exchange. And thank God, because number go up is bigger during Gresham's law. It is not that big during Tyr's law. Don't rush Tyr's law. Don't rush medium of exchange. That's when your main money starts to stabilize. I want more number go up. So these medium of exchange maxis have no concept of the evolutionary steps in the process of a money becoming a full-fledged money. So this is why I say that Bitcoin is a burgeoning money. It is on its way to being a full-fledged money. And thank God, because the greatest opportunity is before it becomes a full-fledged money, not after it becomes a full-fledged money. And so because we live in a world where I have Bitcoin, listen to me, I have Bitcoin. I also have dirty fiat. And people are still stupid enough to say, give me the junk? Really? Man, I'm going to take that trade every day. I'm going to keep my Bitcoin and give them the melting ice cube. Oh, you want the melting ice cube? By all means. I'm not rushing the day where someone says, Oliver, no, I'm sorry, man. You got to give me Bitcoin. But I need this for my family. All right, if you need it for your family, you're going to have to give me Bitcoin. Oh, okay. I'm not rushing that day. So we're in the era where most of the world will still take your dollars. Can you freaking believe that? The thing that's mathematically designed to make you wealthier every 4 years of your life. They don't want that. They want the thing that's mathematically designed to make you poorer every 4 years of your life. I will take that trade every single second of the day. Do you understand? I'll take it twice every single second on Sundays. Be glad we're in this phase. There are going to be people in your bloodline that look back on your era today and says, I can't believe that my great uncle lived in a time where people literally accepted government money instead of Bitcoin. Really? You're going to have people in your bloodline that say, I can't believe that my grandfather, my grandmother lived at a time where people actually accepted dollars for their Bitcoin. Like, who would do that? Crazy, right? So my point is that because we're not there yet, I'm going to use the bad money and keep the good money. But if I'm all in on Bitcoin, I got to use the good money just like I would use the bad money. Or I need to put gas in the car. Or I need to now cash out some Satoshis to go grocery shop. I'm not doing that, dude. We're not there yet. That's freaking wishful thinking. None of that makes sense to me. I'm sorry. I'm offending some Bitcoin maximalists right now. I consider myself part of you, but I'm not there. I've got bad money and I'm going to get rid of that. I'm not getting rid of the good money. That doesn't even make sense to me. All right. All right. Okay. That's item number 3. We don't live in a Bitcoin. We don't live in a Bitcoin world yet. We're going there, but it's not yet. All right. 4. I think I already covered this. You have assets, real estate, stocks. I'm winding down. All of my gold is in Bitcoin. All of it. Late 2022, push all of my gold into Bitcoin. It took me months. People say, oh, well, the gold market is very liquid. It's, 19 to $21 trillion market. The gold market is not liquid. Dude, I'm telling you, as a lifelong, my father was a gold bug and benefited from that huge gold run up in the 1970s. He accumulated gold illegally back in the 1960s, early 1970s. It was illegal. And boom, right into the beginning of the 1980s, it changed our entire life. Guys, my clothes changed, my neighborhood changed, my house changed, my schools changed, my friends changed. Everything changed in my life because of gold. My father hit it huge. So I always knew that, all right, look, for me, the good money is gold, the bad money is dollars. And then everything in between was houses and stocks. So I've always accumulated gold, but real gold. I played the spot ETF when it came out late 2004, got in the first, hey baby, I got in the January 2005 GLD. But my point is that gold was completely unwound and it is not liquid. It took me months to get rid of my gold. And yes, I got taken advantage of a bit because I wanted it in Bitcoin fast and didn't want to wait a freaking year. And so what did the gold dealers and all that do to me? They dropped the bid on me. And I had to decide, do I take this bid? This is an unfair bid for my gold. But they knew I wanted it. This is what I mean. That shit doesn't happen in Bitcoin. I had to rely on other men to set the freaking price for my gold. I had to rely on this other man. These other human beings dictated how much I got for my gold. That's bullshit. When you have it in sufficient amounts, it is not liquid. I'm telling you. My father experienced the same thing in the beginning of 1980 when he was getting out of his gold. He got raped a little bit too, found out how illiquid the market was. Guys, it's a freaking, I'm not going to say it's a farce, but it is not what it's cracked up to be. I'm telling you, maybe 2,000 years ago, maybe 500 years ago, but today, gold is not cracked up what it's to be. I had personal experience of this. And most gold people talking out there, talking about, oh, it's better than Bitcoin and it's the real money. They don't even have gold. They got an ETF or something. And most of them don't even have anything. They're just talking BS. Aren't you tired of like just poor people with nothing pretending like they know shit? All right. Now, what else here? Let me go over. Okay, last thing. Oh, wait. Okay, there's another one here. So I always, here's item number 5. Guys, I always want a certain amount. I don't know if this is just drilled into me from just really young, but I want a certain amount of dirty money, cash. I want a certain amount present at all times. At all times. Because as I mentioned earlier, I want to be able to meet any surprise life comes at me so that I can live fearlessly. I don't care what happens in life, I can handle it. I don't want my family to live in fear. I want them to live with in an absolute fearless way, unbothered, untethered by anything that can happen in life. That takes a certain amount of cash always on hand. I'm telling you to live like that. Now, from this cash amount, I'll be able to handle any life surprise. Just throw me any curveball. I got it. Without you touching anything that I won't want you to touch. All right? That's number 1. Number 2, from this cash, whenever the rarest, the scarcest, what I consider to be the most valuable asset on earth, the hardest money, the hardest asset human beings have ever come in contact with, whenever that shit goes on sale, I've got cash to boom, swoop it up with impunity, without any concern, without any thought, without any like, where am I going to find some money to buy the dip? I used all my money to buy the dip. I don't have any left. And people say that with pride. There's a meme out there. I gotta find this meme, right? There's a Bitcoin meme out there. Here it is. I want to show it to you. You guys know the meme I want to pull up for you. Shit. This is just ridiculous, man. This is it. All right, let me show it to you. You guys know the meme. I'll bring it up here. He said, yeah. It says, you guys still have money to buy the dip? I always want to have something that available to buy the dip. Do you understand? Always. Some Bitcoin maximalists will disagree with me. I get it. I understand. But that's just for me. I have bought every single dip for the past 4+ years. I have missed not a single one. Do you understand? Not a single one. I've demonstrated this live on X.com. I've demonstrated it in your face. Every single dip I buy, every single one. I want my life structured that way. I want to be able to take advantage of opportunity when it comes, not just say I'm broke when it comes. I don't have anything. I wish I had something to take advantage of this opportunity, but I'm out. I didn't build my life to be out. I want to be in all the time. I want to be in the opportunity. You guys still have money to buy the dip? I don't ever want to be that dude. Some people are proud to be that dude. I don't want to be that dude. Dude, man, if a huge opportunity come, I want to be in. I want to be able to be in. I want to be able to at least be in. Remember, I never want to have to say no when I really want to have to say yes. I really want to buy the dip, but I can't. I never want to be in that situation. I didn't work hard to be in that situation. I can't. It's like a little kid. I can't. All right. You guys get what I'm saying. You understand what I'm saying. All right. Abel says, I'm 100% with you. All right, cool. All right. Item number 6, guys. I don't want this to come across the wrong way. Please understand that if it does, it's not my intent. It's not my intent to come across the wrong way. So I don't want this to come across the wrong way. But I've built my life in a way where my cash flow daily is big, it's huge. So I have a strong daily cash flow. So this makes it almost, I'm not going to say impossible, but it makes it very difficult to be 100%. By the time I'm buying Bitcoin, like more of it's come in. All right. That's just the way I've structured my life. All right. So the cash flow is constant and it's 24 hours a day. Right. So what I do is this moves into one of my future points, but I always retain 15%. So I've always looked at my cash flow as I can do whatever I want to with 85%, but 15% goes to the cash till. Do you understand? And what I mean by cash is cash equivalent, something that I can, is very liquid. It's not just simple cash sitting in a freaking bank account. You understand what I'm saying? It's cash and cash equivalents, right? But so 15%, 85%, I can do anything I want with it. All right. So this goes into my next point, but because of that strong cash flow on a day-to-day basis, it's difficult to be 100% Bitcoin. It's difficult. All right. And so I've always taught, guys, I'm in the financial markets. I've been training traders starting on Wall Street for many years. I've trained some of the best traders on Wall Street for working for some of the best firms, hedge funds, and so forth and so on. Later in my career, I decided to switch my focus to train Main Street, how to play like Wall Street, right? And what I've always taught Main Street was always come to me and say, Oliver, what kind of trader should I be? Should I be a trader that focuses on developing income, which is smaller, but more frequent, income smaller, more frequent? Or should I be one of the traders that I read about that focuses largely on big, longer term, wealth oriented plays? Which one should I be? Which one should I focus on? I'm like, that's the wrong question. That's like saying to a coin, which side should I be, heads or tail? No, dude, you're both. And so I always built a strong cash flow game. And so cash flow to me was like your bloodline, your life. Cash flow allows you to live free. Cash flow allows you to have little to no concerns, no fears. You can do this and it's replaced the next day. You understand? So it does require that you be more responsible than someone who gets their pay measured out. I get paid once a month. Okay. That's monthly cash flow. That's not really cash flow. Cash flow is constant. So I worked on building a strong cash flow, but I worked on building the cash flow to a level that is way over and beyond what I need to live my life. So 85% I don't want, I don't need now. Boom, that goes somewhere else. I retain the 15%. Okay. Now, why did I tell you that? Yes. So, my point is, you've got to be an income producer and a wealth accumulator. Bitcoin is the perfect vehicle to be a wealth accumulator, but you've got to work on having an income producer. Bitcoin's not an income producer. It's a wealth creator. You understand? But if you're just Bitcoin, where's the income side of this? Where's that? Because there's two sides of the coin. It's income and wealth, income and wealth. Where's your income side, dude? You just got the wealth side? It doesn't work that way. Now, some of you, your income side is your job, your career. That's fine. Some of you got a business. That's fine. Some of you have a craft and art, whatever. That's fine. But whatever it is, you should try to make that strong. Like that's what I focused on, making my income side strong and growing it to the point where now I could take chunks of that income and move to the wealth column, the wealth category. You understand? And so anyway, the cash flow is still strong, making it very difficult to be 100%. Now, remember I told you, this gets me to item number 7. Remember I told you that there's, I use 15% of the cash flow, 85% to whatever else, right? I don't need the 85%, right? So let me show you. This is where I believe is the right amount for most people. This is the right allocation for most people. And I believe that BlackRock got it right. Take a look. BlackRock got it right, guys. Read, just read. I'm going to take a sip of my tea. Just read. I'm going to go down here and I'll just have you read so it's bigger. Oh, that's weird. Okay. Look, read. BlackRock suggests an 85% Bitcoin allocation. BlackRock's insights. BlackRock recommended massive 85% Bitcoin. This is from the biggest wealth manager on planet Earth. They're telling you 85% is the number. All right. BlackRock's telling you 85%. You see? Now, if anybody wants a good report to read, this one is a fairly decent report to read. Let me see this here, guys. Give me a second. Here, the Morgan Creek. So Morgan Creek Digital analyzes BlackRock's, let me see if you can see that, analyzes in this report, they analyze BlackRock's study that suggested an 85% Bitcoin allocation. So just Google BlackRock Bitcoin allocation 85%, and you'll find all of this stuff, right? Okay. So I'm living according to that, guys. 85% goes to Bitcoin. 15% goes to the cash till. Do you guys understand me? 85% goes to Bitcoin. 15% goes to the cash till. That's how I divide everything that comes in. 85% Bitcoin, 15% everything else. 85% Bitcoin, because I don't need the 85% for my day's life. I don't need it to live on, or whatever the case is. Boom, Bitcoin, 15% to the cash till. All right. Make sense? Yes? Okay. Nobody's answering me, but I guess we're on a delay, but okay. Derek has an interesting question. Good. I see it. Thank you, guys. Thank you for letting me know. Derek is saying, is it wrong to be 100% when you're young, to make all the sacrifices now? I would say absolutely no. No. Like I told you guys, there are some people who I believe 100% can be appropriate for. Let's say you live with your parents and they don't demand anything from you and you've got a job or whatever, you can be 100%. You know? I don't recommend that you be 100% with a family with responsibilities and 4 kids running around and you know, guys, remember I told you that you can have too much Bitcoin? And one of the things, this is what I've taught my people that rely on some of my guidance, right? I said, look, as special as Bitcoin is in our lives, you have no right to negatively impact another human being's life just because you want to be a Bitcoin maxi. Just because you want to be a Bitcoin maxi, you should not be making another human being miserable. You should not be making another human being live in a way they don't want to live because you want Bitcoin. That, I believe, you have to draw the line and do it honorably. You know, we all can go after our dream. We all can go get what we want, as long as what you want does not affect another human being's life. You know? You making your wife eat pork and beans? She didn't sign up for that shit because you want Bitcoin? I say no. Some of you say yes. Oliver, pork and beans are good for her. But I'm just wired a different way. I couldn't look my mom in the face being like that. You understand what I'm saying? So, you know, everyone's got to make their own decisions with this. But at the end of the day, guys, you really don't even have to do this overboard. If Bitcoin's going to where we know it's going, you don't even really have to live like that. You understand what I'm saying? You don't really have to. You don't have to be miserable. If it's going, as long as you're consistent. Guys, listen to me. If you can do, remember what I'm always pounding the table on. If you can make sure that at the very least, every quarter of your life forever, you have more Bitcoin this quarter, 3 months. I have more Bitcoin this 3 months than I had last 3 months. So every quarter at a minimum, if you are more Bitcoin rich every quarter of your life, your children's 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 children will remember your name. That's where this shit's going. That's all you have to do. Now, it's better if you can do it bi-monthly instead of every 3 months, every 2 months, have more, or every month have more Bitcoin than last month, or every week have more Bitcoin than last week. If you do that forever, no one in your bloodline, no one in your family in the future will ever have to live in fear, uncertainty, without and in doubt. Never. As I told you, your children's 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 children will remember your name. And so, in order to do that, can you do that in a way where you also live? Right? Can you make sure that I have more Bitcoin this week than last week and live? Can you make sure that you have more Bitcoin this quarter and last quarter and also live? I mean, you know, that's my philosophy. And I go at it hard, guys. I go at it hard. I told you 85% in Bitcoin, but I go at it hard. But still, that 15% of mine, I'm living. I'm socking some in the cash till, and I'm also living. And I'm living well. Sorry. I work too hard not to live well. I'm living well. Banana. All right. What's the last thing? That was 7. Bitcoin's 85% rule. I like that. I like that. I like that 85%. All right. I wouldn't go smaller than 75%. I like that 85%. All right. I appreciate every live you do, Oliver Velez. Thank you. I appreciate your appreciation. Thank you so much. All right. Okay. Last thing. This is the last one, 8, right? Borrowing. Get this. Smoke on this. Borrowing is the future. And as that becomes more fleshed out on Bitcoin, borrowing against your Bitcoin, we can inch toward a 100% allocation. I told you that I don't believe that whatever stance is yours is appropriate for you now will stay that. I mentioned that at the top of our talk today. If it's 85%, you're not going to stay at 85%. As life goes on, I believe we move closer and closer to 100% because the world's going to move to a Bitcoin standard anyway. So the movement itself is to 100%. But what I'm saying is that borrowing in particular, it's available today. You can do it. You can pull it off. It's a little bit cumbersome. Some people require you to do it through an LLC and this and that, but this is going to proliferate over the next 2 years. You will be able to walk into any financial institution on planet Earth, post Bitcoin up as collateral, and get anything on planet Earth you want without ever selling a single freaking Satoshi. This is coming, guys. Do you understand? And when that happens, yes, now we can go 100%. That's it. That's turning your Bitcoin into the ultimate self-run bank. Do you understand? Because you can tap it up for anything in life you want without selling it. And that's going to move us closer to a 100% Bitcoin standard. Believe it or not, the financial institutions putting on a second and a third. That's a third. Lending is a third layer. So the financial institutions coming into the Bitcoin space and adding a third layer to it, a third layer that's layer 3, loans and financial services on top of Bitcoin. They don't understand. They don't even understand this. They don't understand that what they're doing is accelerating the day that it is a Bitcoin only world. People say, well, Oliver, that's bad. That goes against the Bitcoin ethos. Oliver, I'm a Bitcoin maxi. That's not good for Bitcoin banks and this and that. Dude, no, you're looking at it wrong. Bitcoin is the ultimate Trojan horse. It's entering everybody's world, and it's incentivizing all of these worlds. Its tentacles are entering in. It's incentivizing them to do things with it that benefit them, which further gets it themselves into the clutches of Bitcoin. That's all good for Bitcoin. All of it. Yes. Being able to borrow against your Bitcoin, to do anything in life at any moment you want, even at 2 a.m. in the morning, because Bitcoin is freaking 24 hours a day, like no other asset on planet Earth. That's crazy. That moves us closer and faster to a global Bitcoin standard. It accelerates the need to have this most pristine of all collaterals, because people are going to give you more for Bitcoin collateral than a house collateral, than a building collateral, because it's global and it's available 24 hours a day. Your building, nobody wants, if you default on your loan, nobody wants your building, dude. Like the bank gave you the loan with your building as collateral. They don't want that piece of shit. And if you default, they now have a building to deal with. Jesus Christ. They don't want that, but they'll want Bitcoin. Oh, if you default, there'll be no problem defaulting. They got your Bitcoin. They'll have legal rights to your Bitcoin. So they will give you more things. They will give you anything you want for Bitcoin. They won't give you anything you want for any other form of collateral, but for the most pristine collateral on planet Earth, they'll give you anything. Without fear, knowing that it's liquid 24 hours a day, there is little to no downside risk, especially if the loan is over collateralized, which is what I believe most of the loans will start out being, over collateralized loans. So if you need $100,000, you might have to put $150,000 up or something like that, or maybe more. But that's okay, as long as you don't have to sell your Bitcoin. All right. So let me just show you what's coming, guys. Can I show you this? All right. Can I show you this? But Oliver, you keep saying this. When, Oliver, when? All right. Let me show you. Let me show you what's coming to you. Is it this one? Yes. Read this. Smoke on that. That's right. Smoke on that. Yep. You guys smoke on that for a little bit. When I finish, I'm going to smoke on this. Nothing like a good Cuban. Those fringe benefits. Having a little bit of cash on the side, you know? All right, smoke on that. $2 billion is being invested, initial financing, to do what? To give you and me the ability to borrow against our Bitcoin and get anything on planet Earth we want without ever having to sell our Bitcoin. Read it. Read it. They're out to build an incredible platform to support Bitcoin investors' financing needs. All right. We are excited to help unlock Bitcoin's full potential, continue to bridge the gap between traditional finance and digital assets. This is a good thing, guys. All right. Plans to launch a Bitcoin financing business to provide leverage to investors who hold Bitcoin. All right. They're going to start off with $2 billion and go from there. It's crazy. Now, this is just one firm. Do you understand? This firm, by the way, holds all of the US treasuries for Tether, USDT. All right. There are no slouches here. But you think that's going to be the only one? You think the financial world is just going to let Cantor Fitzgerald do this? Every bank in the world, every financial organization in the world, every insurance company, every financial organization in the world is going to clamor for your Bitcoin as posted collateral. You are going to be the one sought after. You are going to be the new elite. You're going to hold the world's most pristine form of collateral. Do you understand? There will be a different level of collateral for those who hold actual Bitcoin versus those who hold paper Bitcoin like ETFs. No one in the world is going to tell me that it's going to be better to hold a Bitcoin ETF than hold the real thing. No one in the world is going to tell me that. But Oliver, it's the same thing. Bitcoin ETFs are the same thing. No, it's not the same thing. That's like saying my cheap little rendition of the Mona Lisa hanging on the wall that I bought for $10 down the street from the Louvre in Paris is the same thing as that ugly picture that I saw in the Louvre. That's not the same thing. There's no way. There's no way. There's no world in which owning the real thing is less valuable than owning the thing that's not the real thing. Like that's just even stupid. It's stupid to even think that. All right. Smoking anything is not good. Yeah, sometimes not good is good. Sometimes. Gotta live, man. You gotta live. Gotta live, man. Sometimes, you know. My father used to say, don't ever trust a man who has no vices. Anybody agree with that? To Oliver, don't ever trust a man who has no vices. That man's a liar. He's hiding something. And Dad used to say that. Gotta have one vice. All right. Yeah. All right. Too perfect. Too perfect is a warning sign. Ding, 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 ding. This dude is too perfect, man. No, I'm not trusting that. Nobody's perfect. He's too perfect. No. Thank you, Dad. Thank you, Dad, for these lessons. All right. Yeah. All right, cool. All right, guys. There we go. Those are the reasons I'm not a 100% Bitcoiner. As I mentioned, the world is quickly developing things that will speed up the ability for me and others to be 100%. And I don't think that's a long way off, guys. I think we've got one cycle, 2 cycles at most. I think one cycle, you'll be able to, as a Bitcoiner, get anything on earth you want. One cycle is 4 years. Anything you want. Crazy. And I think there are going to be loans where you never have to pay it back ever. Oh, yes. There will be loan products where you never pay. Never. You know, the real estate moguls have been doing this forever. Refinancing and never paying, refinancing. Generation after generation lives. None of them have any jobs, but they live on the top of the world, and no one's ever paid the loan. And there's new loans, and no one pays those loans. And there's new loans, and no one pays those loans. You know, same thing's coming to Bitcoin, guys. All right. Guys, I appreciate you joining. Thank you. I know I do these things sort of short notice, so I appreciate 2,137 people being able to show up on the spot without any real true advance notice. I don't take that for granted. I hope I've left you with something to ponder, something to think about, something that you regard as valuable. As I'm always saying, if I failed on that, I'll try to get better every single time, okay? All right, guys, gonna go grab something, come to something to eat, and later, that's what's happening right there. Boom. Can I get that in focus? I don't know. Shoot, I can't, can I? Nope. I can't do it. Monte Cristo #2. All right, guys. Ciao for now. Boom. Boom.